I'm Amy, also known as Jane Itma.
And I'm Megan, also known as Just Run It. And this is episode 461. 461. And you look appropriately dressed for the chill that has entered our air. I was telling my too cool to wear a jacket 15-year-old this morning, like it's 17 degrees out. You might want to put a jacket on. Yeah,
Yeah,
cold.
I have a heater going and a sweater and a shawl and some colorwork socks, so they're double.
Mhm.
It's trying to be super cozy. Got a hot coffee. Yeah,
You do.
it
The I can feel the like Huga like emanating off of you.
yes, very cozy feeling. Yes, very much so. Yeah.
Do you have plans for Thanksgiving?
We are picking up my kiddo tomorrow from college and
Mm.
having a nice extended weekend. It'll be his first trip back. I think I mentioned that last time, but
Yep.
yeah, just super excited for that. And yeah, gotta make a Thanksgiving meal.
Yeah,
Haven't done
yeah. We
that
are I think we've
ever, I don't think.
started. Oh, that's fun.
Well, take that back. Like it's a smaller version of it, and I
Mhm.
have done it before, but it's been a while.
Yeah. I think we're starting a new tradition with of like every other Thanksgiving going down to Iowa. So
Mm.
kicked it off in 2020 where we didn't, and then we did in 2021, then we didn't in 2022, and then we did last year. And so it's just a lot, close to 6 hours one way to yeah, also do like 3 weeks later. And that way I
Well,
think the Canadians have it right, right?
yes, yeah, separate them by a bit. Yeah. I was thinking about that too, and it's like, I don't know, it's with college and wanting to come home, and it's like, okay, maybe the traditions need to start being
Yep.
at this layer of the family, right? Just because you don't want to have that extra added, like, okay, you drove home, okay, let's get in the car and go to grandma's house.
Yeah.
It's like, nah, let's just start doing it here.
We always do Christmas down in Iowa, so that's yeah, that's the like staple of that like every every 3 weeks going down there. But yeah, no, super excited for our brand new college frosh and their first finals and yeah, getting through that first semester.
Yeah, yep. I don't envy them. Not one bit.
I
I
just
have
keep on
different
telling
stresses to be
yeah,
sure, but
yeah.
those were not my most favorite memories.
No, absolutely not. But also like relative to like other things, like finals week does end.
Oh yeah.
there's there's yeah. I have the distinct memory of like when Ellie was really young and she did not sleep through the night. Like she was kind of a snacker. She wanted to
Mm-hmm.
get up every couple of hours and eat. And she was just a wee little thing, so she didn't have a very big tank on her, right? But I just remember being like, this is kind of like the level of sleep deprivation I had during finals week. But like I knew at the end of finals week I was going to be able to get a good night's sleep. And I don't like it's just like when am I going to be able to sleep again? No one knows. Nobody can tell me. And that like level of like, ambiguity and uncertainty was just like mind blowing to me, right? I'm like, I guess this is just the new normal. And then shortly thereafter, right, she did. She grew, the tank grew, and she was able to sleep through the night. But yeah, there was just a level of like, I think the last time I've been this sleep deprived is when I was preparing for finals.
Yeah.
There was definite cutoff there. Anywho, yeah, definitely don't envy them, but like trying to keep the anxiety low of like, hey, you're doing all of the prep work, right? Like it's not like you're
Oh
just
yeah.
going into the final with like trying to cram right at the last moment, right? She's doing all the stuff to make, and if the professors are honest and are actually trying to assess that she was in class and doing the work and whatever, the tests will be based off of that work, right?
Hmm.
So yeah, don't know if it's reassuring or not. We'll see. We'll see. All right. Any administrati that we wanted to chat through? We're almost ready to get the teams out, right?
Yep. Yep. We're just discussing what that first challenge will be. And for the length, as soon as that's decided, it'll go straight out. It's all drafted. It's ready to go. I just need just that little detail, put a bow on it, and then it'll
Hmm.
go out. So hopefully today. Shouldn't be too much longer. And
Let the
again, that
shenanigans and friendly rivalries begin.
yeah, I will remind people that if you're a designer and you want to sign up for our designer showcase, we appreciate that. I don't know that it's been communicated enough. I haven't seen too many applications coming in through the Google form. So if you're
Cool.
on the fence and you're thinking about it and want to talk through, reach out. We've had a lot of people do it and enjoy it, and yeah, it's a good time to talk about your designs and find new fans. So,
Yeah, also just yeah, have it be on the, we have a button on our KAL dashboard to find pattern inspiration, right? So folks are able to find your designs and make them, and often enjoy being able to meet the designers themselves after having made yeah, their creative endeavors come to life. So
yes. So I haven't gotten it out there, but obviously you can use Anna and Megan. I have a few things out there you're welcome to use. And then we got Kirsten Snitz. So um, you can go and take a look at her designs.
and Kristen?
Most Nick and Kristen, sorry. Yeah, I reversed it, didn't I? Um, Kristen
That's
and Kristen.
yeah,
Um, but
very
yeah,
cool.
if you can lots of sock patterns in her designs. So wonderful, but not
Yeah.
exclusively. So go check that out. I will get a link out there shortly in the starting designer showcase thread in Discord. And yeah, it'll be a fun time.
Awesome. You want to talk about finished objects?
Sure. Yep. So I did finish a pair of socks.
Mm.
This is Valkyrie fibers or Valkyrie yarn. I don't know too many people with that name, but I got this from the ride. Oh, now I can't remember it. It's the auction, the charity auction for AIDS, um, that is run by somebody out of San Francisco, I believe. Uh, Again, I am butchering this, and people are probably screaming at the screen if they've done the auctions before. But very generous people put up the yarns for donation. Uh, it's D-Stash, and oh, it's D-Stash for good. There you go. So if you go out there and you can either set it to be 100% goes to the charity, or you can say, I only want half of the money to go to charity, and then people will bid on it. And then if you win the bid, you pay. And it's all well organized. And I think that, yeah, it's worth checking out. Sometimes you can get a real good deal, and some people have put up some things that are kind of rare, right? Like somebody who's not dying, or it was a limited edition thing. And so sometimes you're paying a little bit more
Mhm.
than you would have the first time around. But it all goes, a lot of the people say 100% goes to charity, and many people say 50%. So that's really good.
Mhm.
And then last but not, or I shouldn't say last. I did finish 6 knitted knockers. So my total went up on finished knockers, but they're unstuffed and relatively uninteresting. But I did finish my trove.
So pretty.
So yeah, it's an all over slip stitch garter pattern.
I
And
love.
I did feel like I was on Yarn Chicken for this. I didn't end up having a whole lot left, but I stopped early on the sleeves, thinking I wouldn't have enough for the length, and the sleeves were, quote, long enough. Um, but if I had 100% foresight, I would have put another inch on these sleeves, and I still would have gotten the same length.
Got it.
Because, just like another inch is only a couple more rounds. I would have had enough to do a couple more rounds on the sleeves. But the white was also on fumes. So it was do or die. And I did end up with
A real doubt, good to the last drop sort of sitch.
yes, yes. You like again, hindsight 2020, right? In
Mhm.
hindsight, I could have put another inch on the sleeves, but I did not know uh that was going to be the case. So yeah, I could rip back and add, but I think that it's a manageable length. I've worn it a couple times already. Very cozy, very schmooshy.
Ooh.
And I made it a little bit oversized. And then the sleeves, they go to like there. So you can kind of like
Yeah.
it's just shy of like being perfect. So it could be
Did
in
you
my future.
try blocking the heck out of?
Yeah, oh yeah. No, if you looked at this is like blocked within an inch of its life.
Okay.
These are super blocked.
Okay.
Yeah, like
So you
it's
thought
like
you were going to have very short sleeves then.
I did.
Yeah, yeah. I think if you hold it up again, Amy, like to me, it almost looks like holographic, the way,
Oh yeah.
specifically those colors, right? Like the way that
Mhm.
it has a little bit of, yeah, shimmer to it. It's very cool. It's very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's very what do you want to say? Like because it's that mill spun yarn, like the sleeves are not matching and the back and the front aren't matching and yeah, it's
You could either buy, four times the yarn and try to get like repeats, right?
right.
Or you can embrace the yeah, wabi sabi of the imperfectness of the art, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and I wonder sometimes what I don't know muggles think about it, like non-knitters in the world, like, oh, why would you do that with the yarn? Like you have like a big blue chunk up here and like you have no pink in this sleeve, but a bunch of pink in that
Have you
sleeve.
ever looked at like store-bought stuff though? I mean, I feel like there's like I've bought shirts and stuff where it feels like, patterns haven't necessarily matched up and like I don't know, like I don't feel like there I think there's a certain amount of attention to detail when you have made the item that
True.
you notice those things. I think like people that are just buying things off of the rack maybe don't. Or like just
Fair.
see you wearing it, right? Again, like they're not seeing you hold like your two sleeves together and be like, see, look, different colors between the two. Or like you're only ever seeing the back or the front, right? Like nobody is seeing the back and the front at the same time to know that they're right. Like
Yeah.
I think through that, some of that, like I have the same thing, right? Like, oh, I wonder if like everybody's going like, that's obviously been made by her, right? When I'm wearing it. And then I'm like, no, wait a minute. People don't see the things at the same time, right?
Yeah, I can give you an example of that right now. My cuffs are a different
Mm-hmm.
dye lot. Doop, doop.
Yep. That's a feature in my book. And that
It
transitions
is.
really well to what I had to do. I was also running on fumes on my sweater. So I made a Mabel sweater. This is not fisherman's rib. It whoa, did you see what my color did? It was
Yeah.
trying to figure out the orange. That's trippy. Anyway, sorry. Um, And I caked up this huge, it's the CC's Wool Yarn Baby, oh Rhinebeck, we miss you. So this is my souvenir yarn, even though it's from the year that Rhinebeck was. So it was a souvenir I bought myself because I couldn't go to Rhinebeck
Got
during
it.
2020. But yeah, the Yarn Baby is is a lot of yarn, but it is not enough to make a sweater for me and have it be like this super dense, like with some slip stitches. And I mean, I don't know if you can, it's just like pure mush, right? So I ended up pulling some pink that is kind of like an orangey pink, right? And I did on my sleeves, I like alternated with the only on the cuffs, right? I mean, which is hard to distinguish with the rest of it because it is also ribbed. But I alternated with this pink um, on, the cuffs and then the collar and yeah, it's a little more obvious down here on the hem because it's a larger swath of fabric.
Hmm.
But I feel like when I'm wearing it, it's not like overly obvious, but if you noticed it, you'd be like, oh, that was a touch, right? That's what she
Hmm.
purposely did it. So I needed a little bit more yardage with this super smushy yarn and got it by being a little bit more creative or being creative on those areas. So right, your cuff is a really great example of like, hey, different dye lot, who cares?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
And it
purposeful.
was a situation where I'd bought the one skein of the yarn because I hadn't tried it before and I got it in person. I was gonna make a
Mm,
hat, blah blah blah. But then I wanted to make this sweater and I was in between sizes or needing to break into a new ball, and I was like, mm. So I caution to the wind. I ordered one less, right, than
mhm.
I would have needed, and I did end up running out to the point where I needed to use the cuff as my. It's different, you could tell.
Yeah. Really enjoy this pattern. Some of the ZKNers were in my Rhinebeck house when I was casting it on. I had a lot of trepidation. The first thing is it's not like you cast on some stitches and it's not in the round. So I
Mm,
was like, oh my God, this isn't going to fit over my head, right? Well, there's some back and forth on the back. And then when I was joining, I ended up casting on extra stitches because I was like, this is not going to fit over my head. Like it didn't seem like the neck was going to be wide enough, but it's very stretchy. I don't know that I needed to have cast on extra stitches to make sure that it went over my head. And then, yeah, kind of like cinched it up a little bit on the neck as I was doing the color, but really enjoy this. Maybe I enjoy these autumnal colors a great deal, but like the yellow of Mabel's sweater in Only Murders in the Building were yeah, that would be great on this as well. So yeah, I could see myself making this again. Really intuitive, kind of get into a zen flow of making this super mushy um, stitch. And then, yeah, it just blocked like a dream. I will say a lot of people have made this in sport weight because she has in kind of the preamble that it does really well with like a well plied or beefier fingering weight yarn. I think the sample she made was with a 200 yards for 100 grams base. And this is not like the CC's wool is a very light fingering, and I don't feel like it's too tightly plied.
mhm.
It's kind of a looser plied, but I think it's still kind of sings. Again, when you can see my camera trying to counterbalance the brightness, you can still see the texture of it, right? So
Mhm.
yeah, it was a fun sweater. Definitely swishy and nice. And then yeah, lot of socks. I got some 50-gram skeins at ZK. My wonderful friend Alicia gave them to me, and they are just good to the last drop. I think I've made 3 pair of socks with this, not the green, but the blue
Mhm.
as the contrast color. Again, this is really what does it do? This is going to be fun. What does it do when I hold this up and then this? Nope. the green is still iridescent. It's not that iridescent in real life.
Mm.
Oh, if cameras could do what I actually wanted to do. But yeah, and then this is like Deep Stash. The green is Yarn versus Zombies and her an MCN base all the way from Australia. Do you remember Yarn
Mhm.
versus Zombies? Yeah. And then yes, also the purple here is heliotropic from Leading Men Fiber Arts, but that same, so again, that same blue, just kind of in a different setting. And then I did finish the Stitch Surfers.
Ah,
So yes, kind of fun there. Either wear them that way or with the blue centered. And then I did a little something different with the heel. I think I was worried. So this was, I can't remember now, but I think this is the one that I showed you in the works in progress. And then I was like, oh, I'm gonna run out of yarn. It was one of the two. And so I made the heel. So they're not exactly matching, but yeah, I've I talked about it in the works in progress. A little worried about that underfoot, but we'll see. We'll see. Somebody mentioned putting that on top of foot, um, or not on top of foot. Uh, was it you that mentioned top of foot? I can't remember. Anyway, but yeah, the join place with the decrease and the I think that would be even if I switched them, right? Like the pretty one was at the that was at the bottom instead of the top, I think it would you would still feel it like that that transition. I also feel it a little bit in the toe. So again, if I made it again, I would probably just make a solid toe and
mhm.
then start doing the intarsia in the round. But yeah, fun socks. This is spun right round. Some old stash of hers that I had. I think that I got off of the yarn truck, maybe. I
Mm.
don't know that I've ever seen her or bought online, I guess, but I don't know that I've ever seen. I've met her in real life, but I've not like gotten to shop her yarn in real life other than on Jenna's truck. And then I finished this. It has not been blocked yet, but the Sparky that I was knitting. Got the body finished in the sleeves. And much like what you were just talking about with your trove, I got to a certain point here and I stopped because the wasn't worried about the blue. I was worried about the contrast. I did do some like safety net sort of like trying to find another white that I could swap in. And then I don't think I was holding like a white and a pink and purple together. I don't again you can probably see that in some of the plies of it together. So the blue is MCN from Sun Valley, and yeah, was worried about the white running out, and did some like planning of like how I could like swap that in. It helps that it was being blended with something else, but ultimately, like again, good to the last drop. Like got to a point where I was like, oh, I think the sleeves are long enough, and I could maybe just make an extended cuff. So then I went back and added some length on the body, and yeah, I think it'll be. She doesn't know it's hers yet. But I think it'll be great. So we'll have to do a try on, maybe pre-blocking, and then I can like it does have the width, so she wanted lots of positive ease. Mostly worried about the sleeves, making sweaters for other people, right?
Mhm. It's tough.
Did I did measure her sweaters before I made it for her to try to go, okay, what's underarm length, right, on a sweatshirt that I see her wear a lot. But it's rife with anxiety when you can't just try it on yourself, when the model isn't right there. So we shall see. But yeah, very fun. I decided not to put the pocket in, mostly because I think it would have to be really high to make it long enough for a
Phone.
phone fit
Mhm.
in it, and then it would look like you had like pockets right under your boobs.
Yep.
Did some math there and was like, she doesn't like things super long underarm, right? And like, oh, that pocket's not going to be in a great place. So yeah, pocketless, but kind of again, feel a little like what I was commenting with yours, like a little bit of a holographic feel or a shimmer, I guess, with the yarn being a bit of a speckle plus like that solid white in there. And yeah, I really enjoy the Sparky pattern. I think it's a great way to kind of mix in some color and have something to do, right? Rather than like, again, maybe controversial statement here, but like get done with the yoke and then just have miles of stockinette. This was something interesting to do throughout. And it's a nice, like, if I had plenty of the blue, but if I didn't, this extends that blue quite a bit, right? So a way to extend a sweater quantity that maybe wasn't quite enough for what you needed. Similar to your trove too, right?
Yep.
Like, yeah, you were running on fumes on both, but yeah, I'm excited for it. I imagine her walking around on a cold campus and having this nice like double, double heavyweight yarn because of the like you were saying with your socks, right? The double layer because of the color
Mhm.
work. So yeah, and
All
that's
right.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, you got a lot done. I probably will have.
I think the Mabel sweater was just like I was just adding those like pink those pink stripes in to extend the cuffs and hems the last time we had a finished object. So feel like that was a little bit of a
Cheat.
like it got done. Well, it got done right after we
Yeah.
did our work in progress episode. So I was paying attention to the letter of the law with that episode
Yeah.
and was not showing you something that wasn't done, but was basically done, right? And yeah, it's been sitting, not being worn, being ready to show for finished object episode for quite some time.
Yeah, my newspaper is getting length and we'll end up needing sleeves. So hopefully by the next time we do this, we'll see a newspaper.
Yeah,
But I'm
the
not
I
going
will
to
tell
count on it
you,
because little things keep jumping on the needle.
yeah, I will tell you that my newspaper, like, you were saying hindsight, right? Or yeah, 2020 hindsight. Like I would have made added length both on the sleeves and the body on mine. And I think I had enough yarn. I think it was just like it seemed so long, right? So like brioche has a lot of stretch in any one given direction. And I feel like when I'm wearing it, there's nothing on the bottom that like pulls it to be longer, if that makes any sense. So even though I blocked the hell out of it to try to make both the sleeves and the body longer, it just kind of bounces because you've got those tucked stitches, right? So
Got it.
I
So
would
so
I would
if I
add
do a
length.
try on,
Hmm.
that is the length. There's no blocking that's going to fix it. You need to just do it. Okay.
Yep, yep.
That's good advice.
Anyway, yeah, I feel like alternate like back when we weren't just like FO episode, we could be like sweater length and yarn hacks have been a have been a major theme, and we just wandered into it. We didn't say that we were going to. Yeah, it was not premeditated. So
Nope. Yeah. No, I'm excited. I know that because it's color blocked, I know that the color block I'm on now would put me at 11, no, 12 or 11 inches under bust before you add the cuff. And I'm like, but an additional color block is another 4 inches.
yeah,
So it's like, so I could either do a half color block or I could try it on. We'll see if it's going to bother me.
yeah. So the next color block is in with the contrast color to the front. Okay. I was like, probably less noticeable if it's going to kind of match the hem, right? But
Yeah, you're right. I don't know. Yeah, I haven't thought about the hem color yet because you don't have to choose that yet.
yep,
Um, so yeah, that's an interesting thought too.
yep.
I should really think about that as well. But yeah, fun.
Yes,
I
yeah, fun with sweaters. Always,
yeah,
always fun. And yarn quantities and colors, right? Like it's always I think I enjoy that challenge, that everything doesn't just work out exactly as you intend, and there's some figuring out to do. It's kind of
Yeah.
like a Wordle puzzle or whatever, right? Yeah, logic games. Anyway,
Bye.
I've done.
So